might look like it's about to be a book and bake, but it is not. This is just the easiest place in my house to just get my camera out and film a video. So we're in the kitchen. And actually I am making brownies right now and they do smell amazing, and I'm sorry that I can't share them with you. Hi everyone, Rosie here. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a kind of new type of video for me. This is going to be, I think, a weekly reads. Something I'm going to be trying out going forward, but I'll talk more about that in just a moment. I'm going to give you a bit of a life update because I mentioned in my January wrap-up, which I will link up here if you want to hear about the books I read in January, that I was going to do a bit of a life update, and also that directly influences a bit of a channel update that I'm going to do. And then at the end of the video I will talk about the books that I read this week, I guess. If you don't want to hear the life update, which totally fair, I get it, not everyone is into that side of this, there'll be a timestamp in the description and you can skip to that. This is my third time trying to film this video because I want to do it with as little editing as possible, but we'll see. I don't know how you guys do this. It's a mess. Let's start with the life update. February is weird in evolving ways. In the fall, my partner and I were planning to spend most of February in my hometown, which I have not been back to since the pandemic started, so that was really exciting. I haven't seen my dad or my brother or my dad's parents since this started. Was really looking forward to visiting all of them and just like my hometown in general. Then, you know, the latest wave really picked up and we were looking at like, yeah, but is it really like, okay, even if it's safe for us to go to my parents' house, do we want to go if I wouldn't feel comfortable seeing my grandparents because we might give them COVID? You know, it's kind of like, okay, we're not sure, we're gonna play it by ear. Then towards the end of January, my partner got COVID and then I got COVID, and that's sort of still the phase of life that we're in. Neither of us got very sick. It wasn't that bad. Thankfully, we both had 2 doses of the vaccine. We were supposed to get our boosters the day before. My partner tested positive and it got canceled by a snowstorm, so that's annoying. My partner's totally better and I'm still fighting it, feeling the effects. I don't know what we want to call it. Got sick about 10 days ago, and although for the last 5 days I've been back at work, I'm still really feeling a lot of fatigue symptoms. You might be able to hear that I'm still quite congested. Basically, last week all I did was lie on the couch for a week, and this week I've been able to do my job, thankfully, because like there's only so long you can leave things for before it starts getting complicated. But after I go to work, which thankfully is from home, all I'm pretty much good for is lying on the couch. I don't know what February is gonna look like, basically. I really hope that I continue to feel better quite rapidly and that in a week or two I'm back to normal energy levels. Fingers crossed on that front. I think I'm feeling better now than I was on Monday, sort of thing, so hopefully that'll continue to improve, but I don't know. February might be a very lazy month. That feels pejorative, but like lots of TV, lots of lying on the couch, lots of not really doing anything. Maybe I'll feel better and be more active and like have more energy to put into things. We will see. And so that's basically what's going on in my life, which brings me to the channel update part of this video. What does that mean for my channel? What's gonna happen here in the coming weeks? I'm assuming that you haven't noticed anything particularly different except for maybe my January wrap-up in the videos that you've seen so far, because those were, other than the January wrap-up, all pre-filmed before my partner even got sick and pre-edited and like pre-uploaded. Because the plan for February was to have a video each week filmed, edited, uploaded, ready to go live by the end of January, because I thought we were gonna visit my hometown. And even once that looked less likely at the end of December, beginning of January, I thought, you know what, well, it doesn't hurt to get ahead, right? It never hurts to be ahead on something, so I'll pre-film a bunch of videos, get them all ready, and I did. And those are ready to go up. So the next video you guys see on Thursday will be one that I filmed like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And actually that's worked out so in my favor. That really takes pressure off me right now. I've got videos ready to go up. I don't feel like I'm missing anything if I don't put as much effort into Booktube this month, which is sort of the plan. The plan is to make weekly reads videos in February that I'm actually gonna make and film as they go up, and everything else will be the pre-filmed videos. In general, I'm just gonna put a lot less effort into these videos than I usually would. You guys probably can't tell the difference, but I'm filming on my phone, not on my camera. I'm using just the overhead light in my kitchen instead of setting up my box lights. I'm not doing any makeup or like even really pre-planning this, which, as I mentioned earlier, I don't know how you guys do this without pre-planning because it is hard, but I'm gonna give it a go. Post-filming, I'm planning to take a similar approach. I'm hoping to not spend too much time editing. One thing that I don't feel totally happy and comfortable with, but I think it's the right move right now, is that for the time being, I'm gonna pause captioning my videos. I try really hard to make sure that for every single video, I take the auto captions, I run through, I edit them, I put in the punctuation, I fix all the mistakes, because I want my videos to have good captions. I want my videos to be as accessible as possible to as many people as possible. That's something where I feel like, is my channel small? Yes, but this is a way that I can put my time and effort where my mouth is. I feel really bad. I'm not going to be captioning my videos for the time being. I want to do it long term. I'm not stopping forever, but it's very time consuming and it is the only part of the video making process that I just flat out do not like at all. As I said, I value doing it, but I don't enjoy doing it. For now, with the level of energy that I have, I need to make this as easy as possible for myself. For now, I would rather keep making videos and probably hopefully come back to these later and caption them when I'm feeling a bit better. I don't know, I'll figure that out in the future, but do apologize if you rely on the captioning, and my Thursday videos this month still will be captioned because they're, as I said, edited, uploaded, captioned, all ready to go. But my Sunday weekly reads videos will not. So that's pretty much what you can expect from me going forward. I hope this has been informative. If you don't care, that's cool. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with this. Maybe I will try the more informal, impromptu, not so much work videos and find that I like them more. But I'm really kind of hoping that at the end of February or maybe the end of March, if it takes that, I'll be sitting there going, I'm excited to like put work into this. I want to put more effort, put more love, put more thought into this, and be excited to make those videos again. So fingers crossed that that will be in the not too distant future. On a Booktube related note, I am really sorry that I have just stopped watching all of your videos in January. If you noticed that I stopped commenting, I apologize. It is not any one of you. I don't think I have watched a Booktube video in like 2 or 3 weeks now, and I don't know why. I think it's that for me, I view you guys as friends, and I view watching your videos and engaging with your videos as social time in my brain now, not content consumption time. It's not just about mindlessly consuming. I'm too engaged, and that makes my brain think that I'm like, oh no, I'm too tired. I'm not up to chatting with a friend right now, so I can't watch my friend's video, which is it logical? No, not at all. Do I want to get back to watching Booktube videos very soon? Yes, totally. I will get to them. I am so excited. There have been so many thumbnails that went by that I thought looked so great, and I can't wait to get back and watch them and watch whatever you have coming forward. I don't know. Brains be weird. Books don't be weird though, so let's talk about the actual weekly reads part of this. I have not been reading a ton this week, so hopefully this part will be short to balance out the overly rambly life update. I read loads last week because I was off work, because I was very sick, and all I did was lie on the couch and sleep and read. I was like, I'm too tired to sit up and watch TV. So I was reading all week and I read a whole bunch. And you can watch my January wrap up that I mentioned earlier if you want to know about those books. And then this week, as I said, I've been back at work, which is good. But it means in the evening, I'm sort of like, no, I can't read. My brain is done. I have done all of the thinking that I can do for the day, and I'm gonna lie here and like maybe scroll through TikTok. That's about the maximum level of intellectual engagement that I am capable of at this point in time. So I haven't read very much. I did finish Armistice by Lara, Elena, Donnelly. This is the sequel to Amberlow, which I read in December. I had read most of Armistice over the weekend, last weekend, and then read the last few chapters during the week. always hard to talk about sequels because, like, can't tell you about anything that happens in this book without telling you about the first book, so I'm just gonna give you the general description of the first book. And like, Amberlow is set in a world that's not our world, but not a magic fantasy world, so I think it's fantasy? I don't know, it's kind of unclear to me. This world is like 1920s-esque. It's got roughly that level of technology, but not exclusively. Like, there's some differences, it's not just 1920s. And Amberlow is like a spy political thriller-ish. I don't think those are the right words, but I don't know what other words to use. Think a John le Carré book, but action-packed. That is the vibe that I give for the people who've read this book. Help me figure out how to communicate the tone and the vibe. And if you haven't read the book, read it, and then we can talk about that. So I really enjoyed the first, and I felt inspired to pick up the second, and I really enjoyed the second. It was good. I might have even liked it more than the first, I think. I'm not positive on that, but I feel like I might have. I have just one pet peeve, though. There's a map at the front of the book, which is great, but it's not big enough. It only shows one of the countries, and in this book especially, they're doing stuff in these other countries. And I really can't get a mental picture of how these various places fit together, and it's not on the map, and the book isn't popular enough for people to have drawn fan maps that I can find, and it's just very distressing. So what else am I reading? I'm working on Girt Nation by David Hunt. This is the sequel to Girt and True Girt. I read True Girt in, I want to say April of last year. And I don't know, I'll link a wrap up here if you want to hear that review. Girt Nation is the category that I can only describe as irreverent history. Like, history, but comedy, but also super, like, critical of the bad things that happened in history comedy. Girt Nation is about the period of time from sort of like, I think, the 1860s to, I assume it's gonna finish when Australia becomes Dominion, Commonwealth, whatever Australia was when it first stopped being just colonies and became a country. I think they were probably like Canada, where it was sort of like a phased out in terms of how nominal the power of the crown was. And yeah, that's what it's about. I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm finding it so funny. I find all of these books hilarious. They make me really obnoxious to be in a room with because I'll just sit there and just snort constantly because of how funny they are. And also just like fantastic use of footnotes. We know I love a good footnote, and this book uses them so well. I'm really enjoying it, as you can tell. It's really, really good, and I'll probably finish that relatively soon if I can stay awake. I've just barely started The Girl in the Tower by Katherine Arden, which is the second book in the Winter Night trilogy. Common story lately. I read The Bear and the Nightingale in December of 2020. Why not link another wrap-up up here? It's just the video of linking wrap-ups, apparently. And I absolutely adored The Bear and the Nightingale. I thought it was so good. I had so much fun with it. And I have just never wanted to pick up The Girl in the Tower and the final book in the series. I know that they're probably going to be amazing. But this series is such a prime example of something I suffer from so much. I can really, really enjoy something while I'm consuming it. While I'm reading the book, while I'm watching the episode. I love it. It's amazing. But once it's done and I have more to pick up, like in between sessions of reading or sessions of watching a show, I am absolutely repulsed by the idea of consuming that media. I just don't want to. It is not appealing. I want to do anything else. If my partner says, hey, let's continue that show that we were absolutely loving, I go, oh, I don't want to watch it. And I think I'm starting to figure out what it is. I feel that way about books, shows, whatever, that has a certain kind of tension in it, narratively. The Bear and the Nightingale was amazing. And I think part of what I loved about reading it was this feeling of, oh my goodness, what's about to happen? Oh no, what's gonna happen? When I'm consuming that sort of media, love it. Cannot get enough of it. But when I'm not consuming it, my brain thinks, oh no, that's going to be scary or unpleasant or anxiety inducing, you should avoid it. I'm not sure if it's actually useful to know this about myself, and I'm not sure if it'll actually help me change my habits, but I'm trying. So I'm picking up The Girl in the Tower. I would really like to read it this month, and I'm only a little of the ways in. I've read, I think, 5 chapters, but it's great. I'm really liking it. And now I don't want to pick it up. So that's something I maybe need to try and work on, is just like make myself actually pick it up every day so I remember why I'm excited to read it. I don't really know how to close out this video. So I guess let me know what you think down below. Let me know what you think of this style of video. If you think there's something I could do differently to make it still easy, but maybe a bit better, I'd be curious to hear how you guys approach doing casual weekly read type videos. Like, do you have any tips for ways to make it easier? And let me know what you've read this week. I'm really curious to hear. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like down below, and if you would like to see more of my videos and see how this format evolves for me, don't forget to hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.